Welcome back to Careers with Miss V. I'm so excited to bring another incredible guest. Today we are speaking with Dr. Beatrix Henkel, who is the founder of RACE. She's based here in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, and we're going to be talking about the mission and the intention behind RACE and how her education found her intention for the purpose of what she does today. Welcome, Dr. Henkel. How are you today?
Good, and thank you for having me, Maria.
I'm so excited to have you. What we're about to speak about, is one of my most interesting everything. I think the world of coaching is a very exciting world, and to hear that you're trying to raise awareness for coaching, especially in education, is very exciting for me. Now, before we get into those details, I know there's a young person watching this right now thinking, how does Dr. Henkel found a company called RACE? So I thought we could take you backwards when you were a younger teenager and you had interests in languages and history. How did that connect the dots for you in terms of making career choices as you were growing older?
If we start from the languages and history, that's a very interesting starting point because the languages stayed and they're very much a curiosity for history also. So the complexity that exists in the human mind, it can be translated into words and it can also be translated into the actions that we do, which is basically what history is all about. So I think when I followed that journey of moving towards a passion, because at that time I remember I was like 13 or 14 and I really knew I want to be a teacher and I want to teach English because I had a super inspiring, very gentle, very pleasant personality, a real marmoset, who brings warmth and kindness to the classroom as an example. So I just wanted to follow and step in her footsteps and be a teacher like her. So history just came as a given because it's just so exciting. It's about stories, it's about people, it's about connections. And that started me out on becoming a teacher. And after I was a teacher for quite a while, I wanted to go a little bit more. And the next step was just to delve deep into one of the topics. And interestingly, when I started out after my master's and I tried to get into a doctorate school, the first ever time I failed the entrance exam, so I didn't get in. And the topic was something that compared computer-based testing with pen and paper testing. And even now looking back, I feel like, wow, that's not really an inspiring topic. So the whole year went by just me thinking, do I want to go on with this? Do I want to just skip it and leave it here? And then I said, all right, let me give it a try. But this time I'm going to submit my application to 3 different universities and programs. And interestingly, in the last 2 months, I also got clarity into what I want to research. So then everything just one step followed the other. When you nail down that point, when you have the clarity where you are heading, then everything just falls into place. The how automatically happens step by step. And then after the doctorate, which was about, as you said, language and education, why people learn languages. That was the big question. And do they have a different system, subconscious system, when they learn English compared to when they learn a minority language? In my case, it was Ukrainian, which is a language only of local importance, but that can be substituted with any other language, which is not as important as English. So it was very interesting to see the differences, but mostly to see the similarity, and the similarity was that if you have a clear vision who you want to be when you speak that language, the rest will fall into place. You can very easily learn a language. Significantly, the most dominating factor was what one of the motivation researchers called the ideal L2 self, which is how you see yourself speaking that language. And this is something that led me into the world of coaching because I just really wanted to understand, how can we help students? How can we help others to see this, to create this vision for themselves? And the answer for me was in the neuro-language coaching program, which is about teaching languages, coaching people to explore the language instead of teaching it to them. Instead of me introducing you to the past tenses, I will create a game where we can play together and see how we can group those past tenses. And what is the pattern that we can see? What else can we conclude from how those past forms are formed? For example, just one of the many examples. So this introduction to coaching, as you know, is just poison. Once you enter the world of coaching, you can just nonstop. You just want to discover more. You just want to become a better person. You just want to create this opportunity for many others. Once you have it for yourself, you want to create this space, this safe space to explore for everybody else. And education is the platform to do that. So the last phase is really when Corona started. A couple of us, coaches and educators, were getting together every Wednesday evening, discussing how can we do it? What can we do about it? And after a year of discussion, we entered into a very detailed discussion and conversation. So how can it be institutionalized? So we really bring something of essence that is visible, understandable, and relatable to people. And this is how we created, the platform, which is an online platform open to anyone who wants to have this experience. Teachers, parents, teenagers who are interested in exploring and knowing who they want to be, who they want to become. So this is where we are right now, as well as we go in person to meet people, to do workshops, creating collaborations. So we can encourage the teachers to use more coaching skills. We can encourage schools to create a coaching culture, and we can do it not only in the UAE, but worldwide.
That's really inspiring. And what it makes me really want to echo from everything you're saying is that for a young person right now thinking, how am I going to decide what I want to do moving forward? Learning from your journey, it comes down to where your curiosity was and how you opened up the opportunities by remaining curious and learning from that. Let's talk a little bit about the realities of what you do. So on the one hand, you have founded this incredible platform where you're able to create more coaching awareness and helping institutions create a coaching culture. However, at the same time, you're wearing the hat of an entrepreneur. How did you prepare for that role? And what are some of the skills that you didn't learn doing your PhD and doing your research that you need to know as an entrepreneur?
Thank you so much for asking this question. It's just really great, and there are a couple of things that I would like to share with anyone who wants to have a business or follow their passion. I think it's very important, first of all, to know who you want to be as a person, as an individual. And then the hows and the what's next, it's going to happen. It's going to be there. And the second is what I realized in this journey, that it's all about self-development. If I want to see that progress, if I want to see that movement, that dynamics in my life, that happiness, that abundance in my life, I'm the one creating it. So I'm the number one responsible for creating something in my life that I feel good about, that I feel happy about, and something that I want to share with others. So know who you want to be. And the second is to really step into that space and really feel it and live it, in a sense that know that all things happen in your life when you are creating it.
That's a very powerful message. How do we translate that for a young 16, 17 or 18-year-old? How do they take the interest, the curiosity, and figure out who they are? It's a very vulnerable stage for a young person. And anytime I interview guests just like you, we realize that it's going backwards and connecting the dots, sort of like we did with you. And we looked back at how languages and histories connects the dots moving forward. What are your suggestions in the work that you do as an entrepreneur and as a coach yourself, and hoping to create more of that coaching culture? How do you help young people discover who they are so that they feel more confident in making those next choices?
It is a tough age. If I think back of when I was a teenager, there are so many questions. It's really a vulnerable stage. And I'm really amazed, by the teenagers in my life, how much more mature they are than I was, and how much more open their heart is to knowledge, to give goodness, to give life and love and gentleness to the world. So we really have a blessing in the teenagers we have right now. And they already have that knowledge, and they are brave enough to connect with the knowledge they have to create themselves. So all they need to do is really to listen to their intuition and follow their mind and heart and synchronize it. So they don't exist as two separate routes. One is the mind highway and one is the heart highway. Instead, they create one main highway where they have space both for the mind and the heart. And I do believe very strongly and very deeply that they have the knowledge of how to do it. And they don't need people to tell them. Maybe what they need is a safe space, is somebody they feel comfortable with. So if there is one message I can give to the listener now, I would just say, explore who that person or who those people are for you, that you can trust, who can listen to you without judging your ideas, your feelings, and share with them what your doubts are, what your challenges are. And you will get clarity as you speak. You will not need their advice. Or you will need a couple of questions, somebody who pays attention to you, and you will bring those answers up to the surface because you already have it.
Very exciting.
Yeah, this would be my message.
Very exciting. I'm going to tap into your top 3 tips, the ones that you shared with me. Love yourself unconditionally, create your reality, and stay curious. We hear this a lot, create your reality. How much control does one really have in creating the reality? And this is a question that I ask wearing the hat of a young person who's thinking, we're being expected to, or young people are being expected to create their pathways forward. But really, how much control do we have in creating that reality? How do you respond to that?
It brings me back to the previous question you said, so how can I explain those big words in a simple way? And I was thinking how, and even after submitting the form, I was thinking, so how can I do it? Because the create yourself is just so big. And then I broke it down into 3 short sentences where you think it and feel it, and then you create it. So when you think it and you see it, then you feel it already. The feelings come up with it. And then you already have that power that you need to create this reality. And how much power you have over creating your reality, you have all the power you need to create what you want to have in your life, how you want to have it in your life. And if somebody's telling you that you cannot create that reality because of this and that, it's their limiting mindset, but it's not yours. It's not a belief that you have. You can create whatever you want to create in your life.
Very inspiring. Where were you when I was 16 years old, Dr. Henkel? This is really an exciting interview for me to share with young people because they're looking at their academic pathways ahead, and coming with a PhD brings that positionality where they'll be listening, they're receptive because they look up to degrees. And that's the perspective of many young people right now. But hearing you share your career journey with us reminds everyone that it wasn't about the degree, it was about the curiosity, and it was about tapping into the interest that you had which brought you to opening up your enterprise and founding Race. Very inspiring. Thank you so much for being with me here today and for taking the time. And I can't wait to hear all about the incredible updates that you and your team have with Race. If a young person is interested in learning more about the program, how can they reach out to you?
Just check out coachingforeducation.com.
Fantastic. Thank you for being here with me.
Thank you so much, Maria.
And that brings us to the end of another incredible conversation. Today, I was speaking with Dr. Beatrix Henkel, who is the founder of Race. We discussed her career journey, her insights, and some really key awarenesses. So if you're watching this and you're thinking about how to create that career pathway forward, just remember, try to learn more about who you are and create your future reality. I will see you all at my next Let's Talk Careers with Miss V.